a controversial aspect was brought out when they said even Ronsgare will pay tax. No, and they said that is it 6 billion or 600 billion? All is well. So let me give you guys maybe 1 or 2 minutes each. Just if there's anything you want to add or subtract, or just so you have the floor. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity. My name is Adeswa Okocha, and I'm a chartered tax consultant. So I'm going to say very, very fast. This happened this week. So my firm, we are also a business compliance firm. So aside taxation, we do other compliance like CAC registrations and the likes. And a client actually came to me last week. And she said, okay, I have a business name. I do turnover of about 73 million naira. I'm aware that I'm going to be paying personal income tax based on all the people that have set ring lights. And I've been advising everybody, just because they want to push traction to their page. Both the one that know about taxation, the one that does not know about taxation, everybody has been blaring, and it's not like a noise. It's not even a white noise, it's very noisy noise. So people are confused, right? And I told her, I said, your business name, according to the law, is same as you. No difference, you just have a structure, right? And it means that if you make 73 million naira in sales and you remove all allowable, underline allowable expenses, right? If you remove all of it and you have, say, 26 million for your profit, right? At the end of the day, what happens? When you're declaring or doing your self-assessment, because you're not paying payee, you're not working in any organization, right? Even if you were working in an organization, you own a business, you will also do self-assessment, different from your payee. Do you get my point? So you're going to name it income or trade income, and you put that 26 million, that tax table will apply. Do you get? You're only going to get a relief of 800,000, and whatever legit relief that you can get from National Housing Fund, insurance, and the works. It's never going to be as much as you being in a company or having that business name upgraded to a limited liability company. You still maintain your name. You're not losing your name. You just have limited added at the end. And you now have the status of a different entity from you, like our overseer just mentioned, right? Now, take that 76 million back again as a company. What then happens? You are supposed to pay tax because you've crossed the 50 million naira threshold in sales. Turnover is also sales, right? And doesn't mean that you're going to pay 30% on that 76 million. No. You will remove all allowable expenses. Please, what is allowed? You can prove it. 1. 2, there are certain things, terminologies I will not bore you with, that cannot be allowed. We'll add them back. So your whatever you claim that your normal accountant did for you as profit may not be your taxable profit at the end of the day. Do you get my point? Now, let's assume that same 26 million is what we arrived at. You can now come and say, we bought one car in the name of the company. Oh, okay. Where's the receipt? Was it bought in the name of the company truly? If you have proofs of that, it further reduces, you will claim capital allowance. Capital allowance now is no longer a calculation on its own. It is now part of your company income tax. So if you have capital allowance to claim, it further reduces your taxable income. There are so many other things I won't bore you with, but the long and short of it is that by the time your tax consultant is done with you, you're probably having taxable income of 10, 12, 5 million. Do you get my point? And at the end of the day, you're paying 30% on that. If you are smart, you pay yourself salary. You have director's remuneration, that is also your right. And at the end of the day, you share your profits. And is that one that LRS or whatever IRS you are under can now be taxing? So it's cool, actually, to be a business name. Some people were talking online and they were saying, if you do business name, there's some certain requirements you have to meet before you become a company. That changed in the Finance Act of 2019 and CAMA 2020. He changed it. One person can own a limited liability company. Only you are director. Only you are shareholder. As long as you don't make sales more than 120 million naira in a year, and you don't have assets of more than 250 million naira. The moment you're doing above that, you have to bring in somebody. Do you get? So we're praying to prosper, right? So as long as your business is a small business, right, you won't pay any taxes. You will just be filing new reports. For your VAT, every month you will log into your portal and you will file new reports. For your company income tax, you will file new reports. And then you are not paying any money at all if you make sales less than 50 million, as opposed to being a business name where you will pay a lot of money to the government. Thank you very much.
So, what we are saying now, everybody should become limited.
I'm just giving my advice.
No, that's what is that? Everybody should become limited.
It is profitable now to be a limited.
Do you understand now? So instead of saying you want to just go and do business name of 15,000, 25,000, go and do limited liability company. How much is that one now?
75,000.
75,000. So is it not better to spend extra 60,000? So everybody go and upgrade yourself to what? Limited liability company. Next.
Thank you very much, sir. My name's Thomas Olabi Eric. I'm a chartered accountant, also a tax practitioner. Okay, I pinned down a few things while the overseer was explaining certain things, and I'd like to just give a few clarification, and that's regards the rent relief. First and foremost, you need to realize that the rent relief is only applicable to tenants. If you're a landlord, you cannot claim it. Yes, this is very important to note. However, it's capped at 500,000 naira. And 20% of whatever amount you pay as rent every month. That's what you need, you need to understand that. What we mean by capping it at 500,000 is if you pay rent of, say, 5 million, for instance, if you calculate 20% of that 5 million, the lower of the two, if 500,000 is lower than the 20% of 500,000, the government allows you. However, you will have to present an evidence to show that truly you pay this rent. Please take note of that. Again, when Udwasia was explaining the issue of capital gains, capital gains are applicable to quite a lot of things, but he only streamlined the explanation on shares. When you buy properties, for instance, and you decide to sell the property, for instance, you buy a property of 10 million naira, and then you decide to sell the property and you make a profit of, say, additional 10 million on it. That 10 million, as long as it's not up to the threshold, you won't be taxed. But once you hit a threshold of 50 million and above, the extra will be taxed and be taxed under the year assessments. Please take note of this. Again, he mentioned SCUMO registration and all that. It's a topic on its own now, and I wish that we will really have time to discuss that. However, I will say one or two things that business owners need to take into consideration when it comes to SCUMO, which is, we call some things suspicious transaction reports, and we call some things currency transaction reports. These reports are, you are expected to get a compliance officer who will report these transactions as they occur. You hear the government shouting every now and then that there's a threshold of 5 million and all that and all that and all that. Trainings that we got shows that even reporting less than 5 million, depending on how, the attitude of whoever is spending that money is a suspicious transaction. I'll give an illustration. You see someone who possibly comes to church and, who comes to your business and does, say, transaction of 5 million. All of a sudden, this person begins to do transaction of 20, 30 million. You have the right to report such transactions as suspicious transactions. It's just to save you. What you don't know is everybody seated here, the bank reports your transaction to EFCC. That's just the truth. And that's why we must all take this thing very, very seriously. Next year is not going to be business as usual. For you that do not have your TIN, please ensure, as individuals, ensure you have your tax numbers. Ensure transactions that you do goes through your bank account, and ensure that the proper narratives are stated so as to avoid something we call best of judgments. What that means is that the taxman will just look through your system, your account balance, and assume a figure. It's just to lure you to come and say the truth. And believe me, you cannot win the taxman when it comes to arguments about certain things. But if you are, you have your records in place, you have everything well detailed and explained, you're free. That's just that. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next.
Praise God. All right, so my name is Ambassador Ola Daniels, and I'm the church accountant. So I can't say much more, but
So if I pay big tithe now, you will report me to EFCC.
praise God. That's our prayer in church.
Yeah.
That we should pay big tithes. So I won't report. All right, so one thing that is very important and will be important starting from January, as our father has said it, is that you have to have structure. We can't give it all in this service, but as time goes on, this is a new development. Even the government themselves, they cannot tell you categorically that they're going to get it 100% starting from year 2026. However, they'll be trying their best to get at people. And that is the reason why putting structure in place in your parastatal or your organization is very essential and will become very essential starting from January. So we might be thinking that this tax reform is just to get money from citizens. But the truth remains that this new tax reform is to even help the people below the average income earners and those on the lower level. As an HNI, it will be affecting you more. What do I mean by HNI? That is high net worth individuals. They will be paying more taxes. But for those that are on the average, if you calculate very well, just like the way it was calculated there, from 895 to 750 thereabout, you'll be paying lesser if you have structure. That is the reason why you need the services of experts to help you put these things in place. And one of the good things that I can stress out of this tax reform is that the VATs you pay, there are some zero VATs that you won't be paying VAT on again. Take, for example, agriculture, education, hotels, and all that you pay VAT for before. They now become zero VAT. So you're not going to be paying VAT because the government is going to be paying the company their VAT. They'll be returning VAT to them now. So it is not you, the consumer, that will be paying the VAT. So these are part of the good things that this reform, like I said, it is not something we can totally learn here because it is actually wide. I pray God helps us. You know, as our father has said, that give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Don't start looking for ways to dodge all these things because there's no way you are going to do it. They will get you. Your NIN, your BVN, your phone number, they are all linked to your... It is just as if these people knew what they were going to do by starting that we should link all our account numbers and everything. I don't know if they knew it, but that is what it is coming to be now. You cannot hide anywhere. And as a matter of fact, for that number 23, the question number 23, where we can find the calculations of the taxes, it is not a straightforward calculation like that. That maybe you earn from between 3 million and 12 million, you just deduct, is it 21% or 18%? It is not just straightforward like that. It starts, every taxes starts from the beginning. It starts from deducting the 800,000, goes, once you earn above 800,000, the threshold, you calculate the percentage. Once that percentage leaves that threshold, you go to the next threshold. What is left? That is what you are going to deduct using the percentage of that next threshold. I don't know if you understand. You might not understand. That's the reason why. You understand? All right. God help us. Thank you.
Finally.
Thank you, sir. Well done, sir. So my name is Femi Olukayode, a chartered accountant, and I'm working with the overseer. So you've done a very good one, sir. Thank you, sir, and thank you to my colleagues. So I want to say, like when the overseer was talking, he mentioned that there's a time for accountants, those in the finance sector, to do business. So I want to say something about that, that as business people, we should also be careful because the tax guys, the tax authorities, they are going to do something in 2026 to make sure that tax consultants or those that form as tax consultants to help companies to reduce tax would not be able to do that. Every tax consultant would go through a test with the tax authorities, compliance test, and there will be a list of those that are certified to be tax consultants. So if anybody is coming to you as a tax consultant, you need, as a business person, you need to check that portal to be sure that this person is certified by the tax authority to be a tax consultant, so that you don't get advised wrongly. That's number one. From
a tax tout.
That's number one. Then number two, regarding the new tax law. Let me say finally, regarding the new tax law, we have a lot of information online. For example, the small companies, what the tax manual, the tax act says is threshold of 50 million. But if you go online, you see some people are stating 100 million. So we need to be careful what we're reading online. So what I would advise is the committee that are involved in this tax reform, there's a website that we can always go through, fiscalreforms.ng. You can get any information. Fiscal reforms, FISCAL reforms, REFORMS.ng. Then on X, that's Twitter, fiscal reforms, just fiscal reforms, that's FISAL reforms. Then they're also on TikTok, fiscal reforms NG. So any information you need, I would advise you always go to those platforms to get viable and reliable information. Thank you.
Okay. So do we have any other question that you need clarity about? So how many people have questions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 6 of you come out, please. Let's start with Pastor Denedo. And once they have asked your question, you just go back. Hello? Were you lifting up your hand? Because somebody is about to take your slot. So let's start with Pastor Denedo. We have 12 minutes. Let's make it count.
Okay. Well, the MA is not within the limited liability company. What is the fate of a cooperative trustee, NGO? Is this something we can discuss here? Or is it a platform that one can take advantage of? Thank you.
Answer. Okay, so for incorporated trustees, yes, you are not supposed to pay taxes, actually, as an NGO. Even if you are, some NGOs operate at limited liability by guarantee, yes, you are not supposed to pay taxes, ordinarily. But we have instances where NGOs carry on businesses, right? If you carry on a business and you earn money from that business, you would have opened the door to get taxed at the end of the day. So if you know that you're an NGO or you want to incorporate an NGO that will allow you to do business in order for you to fund the NGO, because not every NGO has the liberty or the privilege of having sponsors. Do you get? So if you want to have that kind of structure where you are an NGO that also carries on business and does not pay tax, then I will advise you register a limited liability by guarantee. That way you're able to still do business and the proceeds will be implemented in your NGO. Thank you, sir.
Okay, next.
All right, so my question is this.
Your name, please.
Okay, my name is Kelvin, and my question is this. How about a company that has a head office, still in the same country, but have branches, whose branches' income is being sent to the head office, while the head office sent them budget for expenditure? So this is my question now. Will that budget of expenditure which is sent to the branch be taxed?
Guys, you are the... Me, I'm a pastor now.
All right, this is my question. I said a company that has branch within the country, and now the income in from those branches is being sent to the head office account, while the head office send them budget. So will the budget sent to the branch be taxed by the federal government?
Sorry.
Budget.
Okay. So your company or the company is seen as one company. So your company is already being taxed. I mean the headquarters, not the branches. It's not branches that will be paying tax. It is the company, because the company is just one.
Wow, thank God. Oh.
PCIT, wants to pay CIT.
Thank you. My name is Nelson. Okay, you have several companies. Now, don't forget that everything is now linked to the same NIN, the same BVN. Let's assume I have 3 companies. This one is doing less than 50 million, this is doing less than 50 million, this is doing less than 50 million, but put together, they are more than 50 million. So, am I going to be taxed? 1. 2.
Okay.
I have a registered agricultural company. Maybe that is also into something else. I should get tax holiday for 5 years. So how do you reconcile that? The third one, this particular tax law, is it separate from what the state does? Is it now something that is general? Because I know that beside these federal laws for tax, the states seem to still have their own. Now, does this exempt you from the ones from states, maybe even local governments? Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just going to answer your first question and allow my colleagues to do justice to the rest. Now, you asked if you, as an individual, have 3 companies, right, and they are clearly owned by you, even possibly 100% owned by you, and that means you have a tax threshold of 150 million naira, right? So you're trying to ask if you'll be taxed individually or if you can still enjoy the taxation on the 3 companies. If you listen to what the overseer said when he was teaching, he said a company is separate from its owner. So it's just like you have 3 children. They are 3 different people. Do you get my point? So they will have different company registration numbers, different teams, and they carry on different businesses. Do you get my point? So each company, you will file their individual taxes differently. Even your platform for filing will be different for all 3. I hope that answers you.
So I want to just buttress what my professional colleague just said here. Being a small company, yes, we understand the fact that you're within the threshold of 50 million below. However, if the properties of that company exceeds 250 million, you will be taxed. You should take note of that. It's very important.
Both of them go pari passu.
Sorry? No, properties.
Property, assets.
Assets. Yes, the assets of the company. If it exceed, by the time it's valued and we find out that the tax authorities find out that it is more than 250 million, you'll be taxed. Not minding it's a small company, 50 million. So both of them go
So
pari
you must
passu.
meet both the turnover and the asset
Asset base.
threshold. And you're good.
You're good to go. You have not hit the threshold.
You're good.
You're good to go.
You will not be
No,
taxed.
you will not be taxed. You have not
Don't
hit
let
the
this thing
threshold.
confuse you. Don't let it confuse you. Do you get? Two things you must meet as a company. One, your sales is not more than 50 million. And your total assets, your properties, your machinery, everything calculated, not more than 250 million naira. You won't pay tax. But if one exceeds, you'll be taxed.
Okay, then regarding the third question about the states and the federal tax. So as individuals, staff of companies, you pay your tax, that's your personal income tax, to the state. The company pays the tax for you, to the state you live in. But companies pay the company income tax to the federal. So the federal has to do with the companies, then the individual payee is for the state.
Please, business owner, from next year, if you have one staff, you start remitting payee for your staff. Take note. You know how you were thinking that it's only federal government that is taxing, right? No. If you have a company and you have one staff, if you have a business name and you have one staff, you must process payee for that staff.
Do you understand what she's saying?
Pay as you earn.
Pay as you earn.
That's
is
payee. And it's collected by the state internal revenue service. So where you lay your head is where you pay your tax as an individual. If you work in Lagos and you sleep in Ogun State, you have to remit your tax to Ogun State. Do you get now? So just to further answer you that, it's not only the federal government that is collecting taxes. The state government is collecting. We mentioned earlier on that business name will be taxed by the state IRS. You're paying personal income tax. Personal income tax is collected by the state. Do you get my point? And then another thing again, for business name, not only would you pay personal income tax to the state, you will pay, if you do above 50 million naira, you will pay VAT and withholding tax to FIRS.
Next.
Thank you very much. My name is Henry. My other question on incorporated trustees has been answered. Okay, so what of a foundation? Somebody have a foundation. What are the tax?
Foundation is the same
They are
as
all the
incorporated
same.
trustee.
Now, for people that are dual citizens, and you reside overseas, you pay tax there. You also come to Nigeria, you pay tax. So how does it work?
For you to pay tax, for you to be considered a resident in Nigeria, you must have lived on any relevant day in the year for 183 days. So that's why people who have jackpot, even if they are citizens, they don't pay taxes. Do you get my point? But once you're a resident, whether you're a Nigerian or not, you stayed in a place of residence for up to 183 days, you pay tax here. Now, that question would be, how long do you stay in Nigeria? So for US, it doesn't matter how many days you've spent. As long as you're earning money there, you pay taxes. Do you get my point? So the question now would be this. How long do you stay in Nigeria? Do you stay up to that length of time? If yes, then you're going to pay your tax. Now, the country that you are doing your dual citizenship with, do they have a double tax treaty with Nigeria? Do you get? If they have, there's a way we calculate all those things. So if you're paying enough tax in that place, you may not have to pay in Nigeria. So that's the whole idea. You don't pay twice. But if you're not paying enough tax, the balance will be paid here in Nigeria. Do you get it now? Thank you.
Next.
Good evening. Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you very much, accountants. While we were learning, I was trying to look into the future, and I could see from my own perspective that very soon there will be like 100 businesses to one accountant. And it's going to be a mess very soon. Everybody will be running here and there. Both the things we have learned, we can forget. And you understand. So I want to take us to automation. What are their plans? Do the accountants have like a guild to solve this thing so that we don't rush you, we don't bombard you? Is there a plan to automate this tax consultation or whatever? You understand what I'm saying? Thank you.
There are softwares that handle all this. For instance, as an accountant of an organization, depending on the software, accounting software you use, you can set it up in such a way that it handles your taxes for you. Just impute figures, it just brings them out. Be PE, be withholding taxes, be VAT, and be it the CIT. once you impute the proper data into the system, there are so many software out there. ERPs, the softwares on the shelf softwares and all that. So it's not a problem. And also the government has made it even easy now. Just go to the website, upload whatever you want to do, you generate it, and that's it. Yes, there is a site where you generate where all this stuff.
Next.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all for throwing light on this topic. My name is Benjamin. I would like to ask a question. So recently, a client asked me to help be a witness to a deed of gift. They want to get their father to sign a deed of gift to the children. So I kind of probed further, and it was like they're trying to evade inheritance tax and trying to reduce what they'll be spending on inheritance tax. So I would like you to throw more light on inheritance tax, deed of gift, and the application of trust. How we can maximize that to cut down what we lose to government through tax. Thank you.
Okay, so what you're trying to do now is get a professional service free of charge. Because you're trying to learn how you can actually, I'm sure we've seen that video where there was an influencer that was talking about how the rich hide their money, right? And how Dangote may not be rich as an individual because Dangote is owned by another company that is owned by another company that has their assets under a trust and is just a beneficiary. Do you get my point? So that's a whole topic on its own that if we delve into now, won't be done with.
What of the deed of gift and an inheritance tax for wills?
Well, like I said earlier on, it is not a straight jacket. Do you get my point? Each scenario has a customized answer. So I will require a lot of questions to be able to answer you, a lot of answers rather, to be able to give you tangible response to what you're asking. Do you get?
So please note, they are available to assist you beyond this meeting because of time. So you can always walk up to any of them and then we can take it further. Finally.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. I want to ask, in terms of registering a limited liability, can one limited liability hold many companies? Like you are running maybe an agency, you have other part of this, like Dangote group of company now, they do cement. So I want to know.
Okay, so like sometimes we mistake group. The word group is a restricted word when you're registering in CAC, right? I know what you're trying to say. So I have like 30 businesses. Can I put it under one umbrella, right? We registered a limited liability and the person gave us 30 different businesses and we registered it for him. Do you get? There are two ways to go about this. Indomie is not registered with CAC. It is manufactured and distributed by Dufil Nigeria, right? So what it means is that Indomie itself as a brand is trademarked. There's a difference between your trade name and your brand name. Sometimes it's the same, but not often. Do you get? So each of those businesses can be brands on their own that you trademark and it becomes assets to the company, right? Pending when you're ready, or now you can have as many companies as possible. To form a group, you have to have 3 companies, 3 limited liability companies registered, and all of them must have the following in common. The first name must be common, like Dangote Sugar, Dangote Refinery, Dangote Cement. Dangote is the common name. You understand? It's common shareholders, common directors, common secretary. All these must be common for you to form a group.